Father's Day dinners used to mean something in our family. Not the extravagant Instagram-worthy gatherings my wife and her father preferred, but small things: burnt barbecue ribs, mismatched paper plates, my daughter running around the backyard with sparklers while I tried not to burn the burgers. That kind of warmth fades slowly like the last breath of a candle. At first you don't notice it. Then one day the room is dark and you're sitting there wondering when the flame went out. This year I felt the darkness before I even stepped through my father-in-law's front door. His house was too clean, too polished, too perfect. The marble floors gleamed like frozen water. The crystal chandeliers sparkled like they knew they were more expensive than anything in my home. My father-in-law liked to remind everyone of that. He said it with his smile, not his words. My wife was already there when I arrived. Her hair was pulled back in a sleek bun, the kind she wore when she wanted to look sophisticated, mature, distant. She barely looked at me as she fussed with the settings on the long oak table. My daughter stood beside her, now 18, nearly grown, and dressed like she was going to a corporate gala, rather than a family dinner. She had inherited her mother's jawline and her grandfather's sense of entitlement. I tried to ignore the pinch in my chest. "Hey," I whispered to her, smiling gently. "Happy Father's Day to us, I guess." She blinked at me, offering a small nod. Polite, cold, a gesture given out of obligation. Not affection, it stung more than it should have. The dinner began the way these dinners always began. My father-in-law dominated the conversation, boasting about his investments, his business partners, his new golf clubs. My wife gazed at him the way she used to gaze at me, back when she actually admired me, back when she still saw me. I picked at my food, nodded where appropriate, tried to laugh at the jokes that weren't funny. I didn't want trouble. I didn't want to ruin the evening. I wanted pathetically to belong. Then dessert came out, and with it, the moment everything fell apart. My daughter stood up, lifting her champagne flute like she was about to announce her engagement. The room quieted. All eyes turned to her. She glanced at her grandfather with admiration that twisted something deep inside me. "Grandpa," she said, smiling wide, "Happy Father's Day." He placed a hand dramatically on his chest, pretending to be touched in the exaggerated way only he could. "Oh, sweetheart, thank you. No," she said, shaking her head. "You don't understand. I got you something." She reached into her purse and pulled out a small, shiny box. The table murmured with excitement. Even my wife leaned forward, her eyes bright. The lid opened. Inside was a key, sleek, metallic, unmistakably belonging to a brand new car. "Here are the keys," my daughter said proudly, "to your new car." The table exploded with cheers. My father-in-law practically leaped from his seat, hugging her as though she had handed him a second youth. My wife clapped with tears in her eyes. I sat there, still, silent, invisible. A car. She bought him a car. With what money? With whose money? My mind spun with calculations, doubts, fears. But the humiliation wasn't complete yet. Because then, while everyone was wrapped in their own applause, my daughter turned to me. Her smile vanished. Her eyes hardened, and in the same breath she had used to honor her grandfather, she delivered her verdict to me. "The mortgage," she said, lifting her glass slightly in my direction, "has to be paid by Sunday." It was said like a reminder to the household staff. Like I was the help, not her father. A few people chuckled awkwardly. My father-in-law smirked, swirling his wine. My wife pretended not to hear the cruelty in our daughter's tone. Something inside me cracked quietly, without spectacle, but deeply. The kind of break that doesn't mend. I felt the room shrink. I felt everyone's eyes slide away. I felt myself disappear. The rest of the dinner carried on, each laugh stabbing me like a needle. I excused myself early, claiming work the next morning. No one objected. No one tried to stop me. No one noticed the way I didn't kiss my daughter's head or squeeze my wife's hand goodbye. I walked out into the cool night, listening to the muffled sounds of celebration fading behind the heavy door. And for the first time in years, I wondered what it would feel like to walk away for good. The drive home after the Father's Day dinner felt longer than it ever had, though the roads were empty and the night air was calm. My hands stayed locked on the steering wheel, knuckles pale, while the echo of my daughter's words replayed again and again. Asterisk, the mortgage has to be paid by Sunday. Asterisk, not Happy Father's Day. Not thanks for everything you do. Just an obligation. A transaction, a reminder of my role in their lives. The one who paid the bills, not the one who mattered. By the time I pulled into the driveway, the house looked foreign to me. Too large, too dim, too quiet. The porch light flickered lazily, as if even it had grown tired of pretending we were a happy family. I stepped inside. The living room greeted me with its usual clutter blank, its throne across the couch, my wife's handbag open on the armrest, my daughter's shoes abandoned in the middle of the floor. I used to smile at these things. I used to believe mess meant life. Lately, it just felt like evidence of how much I cleaned up while they never noticed. I closed the door gently behind me, though no one was there to hear it. My wife and daughter were spending the night at my father-in-law's house. They hadn't bothered to ask if I wanted to join them. I walked through the hallway, past the family photos hanging on the wall. They stared back at me, those frozen smiles, captured in years that felt like someone else's life. My daughter on my shoulders at age 6. My wife kissing my cheek on our 10th anniversary. The three of us at the beach, sunburnt and laughing. Back when love was loud, before it turned into something you needed a microscope to find. I paused at the last photo, us standing in front of this very house the day we bought it. I remembered how proud I felt then, how hopeful, how certain that we were building a future together. Now that same house felt like a cage, a monument to everything I carried alone. I inhaled slowly, letting the decision settle inside me. It wasn't rage, it wasn't dramatic, just a quiet realization that staying would hurt more than leaving. I walked into the bedroom. The bed was made perfectly. My wife always insisted on hotel-style corners, but the pillows were uneven from the countless nights we slept oceans apart. I opened my closet and pulled out a suitcase. The zipper felt loud in the silent room. I packed clothes first. Not all of them, just enough to get by. My favorite shirts, the comfortable jeans, the worn jacket my daughter gave me back when she still hugged me without hesitation. As I folded it, I felt my throat tighten. Where had that girl gone, the one who used to draw pictures of us holding hands? The one who used to run to the door shouting, "Daddy." When she heard my keys, was she still somewhere inside the young woman who embarrassed me at a dinner table? Or was that version of her lost forever? I kept packing. Next went the essentials: toothbrush, razor, deodorant. Then my tools, not the heavy ones, but the ones that had sentimental value. The pocket knife from my grandfather. The small hammer I used to hang all those family photos. A watch I almost never wore anymore. Then I reached for my journals. They were stacked in the nightstand, and drawer 6 of them, filled cover to cover with entries I never intended anyone to read. They held years' worth of worries, arguments, hopes, disappointments, and the gradual unraveling of my marriage. I hesitated. A part of me wanted to leave them behind like shedding skin. Another part wanted to take them as proof that I had tried, that I wasn't the villain they might make me out to be. In the end, I took only the most recent one. The one where the ink still looked fresh, the one that still felt warm with the weight of my handwriting. I sat on the edge of the bed and wrote one last entry, hands steady even though my heart wasn't. Asterisk, asterisk, tonight, they showed me exactly where I stand. Not in anger, not in cruelty, just in indifference. Asterisk, 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 I am leaving because staying no longer feels like living. If they notice, they'll push it aside. If they don't, then I know I made the right choice. Asterisk, 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 maybe one day they'll understand. But I can't wait for maybe anymore. Asterisk, asterisk, I tore the page out carefully, folded it twice, and placed it on my wife's pillow. Not a goodbye letter, not an accusation, just a truth they couldn't ignore. I zipped the suitcase closed, grabbed my keys, and walked out of the room. I didn't look back. I didn't touch the walls one last time. I didn't linger in the doorway like people do in movies. I simply left. The house creaked behind me, as if adjusting to the sudden emptiness. I walked to the car, placed the suitcase in the trunk, and slid into the driver's seat. For a moment I sat there in the darkness, my hands resting on my lap, letting the silence settle deep in my bones. Then I turned the engine on. The headlights lit up the driveway, the same driveway where I once taught my daughter to ride a bike, where I once carried my wife inside on our anniversary, where I once believed our future was rooted. I put the car in gear. The tires rolled quietly over the pavement. The house disappeared in the rear-view mirror. And with every mile I drove, the weight on my chest loosened, bit by bit. By the time I reached the highway, I felt strangely light. Wounded, yes, but free. It was the first step toward a life I had forgotten I deserved. When dawn finally broke, I was miles away, and for the first time in years, I could breathe. I woke to the sound of my phone having a nervous breakdown. At first, I didn't recognize the room I was in. The ceiling was low, wooden, and a little uneven. The curtains were thin, letting in early sunlight that painted the space in soft gold. The smell was different too, cleaner, quieter, free of perfume or scented candles masking tension. I had checked into a small lakeside motel the night before, the kind where the carpet feels older than you but somehow safer. For a moment, I just lay there, suspended between sleep and clarity. Then I heard it again, my phone vibrating violently against the nightstand. Buzz, 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 it sounded frantic, desperate, alive in a way it never was when I was home. I reached for it, still groggy, and the screen lit up with a white glare. Asterisk, asterisk, 87 missed calls. Asterisk, 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 43 unread messages. Asterisk, asterisk, for a long second, I just stared. It felt unreal, like the screen belonged to someone else's crisis. The first 20 calls were from my wife, the next 15 from my daughter. Scattered in between were neighbors, friends, numbers I didn't recognize. Even my father-in-law had called 5 times, something he'd never done before. My pulse thudded in my ears as I opened the message log. My wife's texts were coming in waves. Asterisk, where are you? Asterisk, asterisk, this isn't funny. Asterisk, asterisk, call me now. Asterisk, asterisk, the bank said something about a payment. Asterisk, asterisk, your car is gone, did you take it? Asterisk, asterisk, why isn't your stuff here? Asterisk, asterisk, did you actually leave? Asterisk, asterisk, answer me. Asterisk, I scrolled. My daughter's messages started cold, confused. Asterisk, Dad, are you at work? Asterisk, asterisk, Mom says you never came home. Asterisk, asterisk, Grandpa's confused. Asterisk, asterisk, did something happen? Asterisk, then they shifted. Asterisk, Dad, seriously, this is childish. Asterisk, asterisk, you're stressing Mom out. Asterisk, asterisk, just come home so we can talk. Asterisk, and then, hours later, probably around sunrise, the tone cracked. Asterisk, Dad, please answer, I'm scared. Asterisk, asterisk, don't know what's happening. Asterisk, asterisk, where are you? Asterisk, I exhaled slowly. Not satisfaction, not vindication, just a deep, tired ache. My father-in-law had texted too, and I opened his messages with the caution of a man expecting venom. But instead of arrogance, I found panic. Asterisk, we need to talk. Asterisk, asterisk, your wife is a mess. Asterisk, asterisk, the mortgage is past due. What is going on? Asterisk, asterisk, call me immediately. Asterisk, a part of me, some old reflex carved by years of emotional survival, almost reached for guilt. Almost, but then I remembered the look on his face last night, when he smirked into his wine glass as my daughter humiliated me at his table. The arrogance, the pleasure he took in watching me shrink. I put the phone down. Not responding felt like the first boundary I'd set in years. I stepped outside, breathing in the crisp morning air. The motel overlooked a quiet lake, the water still as glass. Ducks drifted lazily across the surface. Somewhere nearby, a fisherman hummed to himself. The world here didn't care where I had been or why I left. It didn't demand anything of me. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't needed, or drained, or underestimated, or used. I didn't know what I was supposed to feel: freedom, guilt, sadness, relief, so I let the silence decide for me. My phone buzzed again, buzz, buzz, buzz. I didn't look. I sat on the old wooden bench beside the motel office, running my hands through my hair as the sun climbed over the water. After a while, the motel owner, an elderly man with a coffee mug permanently glued to his hand, stepped out. "You look like someone who escaped a prison," he said. I huffed a humorless laugh, something like that. He nodded, sipping his coffee. "Funny thing about prison, sometimes the bars are made of people." I turned to him, startled. His eyes were kind but sharp, like he knew exactly what he was talking about. "Staying long?" he asked. "I don't know yet." "That's fine," he said. "People who don't know where to go yet usually need rest first. Then direction comes." He walked away, leaving me with my thoughts, and my phone, still buzzing like it, was begging for the version of me that used to drop everything and rush home. But that version was gone. Or maybe he'd never been real in the first place, just a survival instinct shaped into a man. I finally picked up the phone, not to read the messages, but to turn it off. Before I did, one last message came in from my daughter. *Dad, please. We're falling apart. Come home. Please come home. The desperation in those words hit somewhere deep in me. Not enough to pull me back, but enough to hurt. I turned off the phone, then I walked toward the lake, letting my feet take me wherever they wanted. Because for the first time in years, my life was finally mine. The lake town didn't look like much to anyone passing by. A scattering of small cabins, a single diner that smelled like coffee and old stories, and a pier that creaked like it had lived 3 lifetimes, but to me it was sanctuary. Within a week, I'd settled into a rhythm. I woke early, walked along the water, and let the cold wind sting the pieces of me that still hurt. I helped the motel owner, Frank, with small repairs, fixing a broken railing, patching a leaky faucet. He paid me in cash and hot meals, and somehow that felt more honest than the work I used to drown myself in back home. I spent my evenings reading on the porch, the sunset melting into the lake like spilled gold. No shouting. No slammed doors. No icy silence. Just peace. And silence, I learned, wasn't loneliness when you chose it. For the first few days, my phone remained off, a dead object, a severed cord. When I finally turned it on, more out of curiosity than wanting to reconnect, the screen lit up with a flood of missed calls and messages. Not 87 anymore, hundreds. My wife's texts had shifted from anger to desperation. The mortgage payment bounced. The bank is calling nonstop. Your daughter is hysterical. She thinks something happened to you. You can't just disappear. We need you here. My father. In-law's messages were clipped, panicked, and entirely uncharacteristic. We need to discuss finances. There's an issue with the car purchase. You are making things harder than they need to be. Call me immediately. Harder for whom? I wondered, then came the messages from friends, co-workers, neighbors. Whispers spreading through the cracks of my old life. Your wife is in trouble with the bank. Heard your daughter's car gift wasn't fully paid for. They're scrambling. What happened? The empire they built on my back was collapsing without my shoulders to support it. But that wasn't revenge, that was gravity. When you remove the foundation, the building falls. Simple as that. I turned the phone off again, not out of spite, out of self-preservation. Hash hash asterisk asterisk healing comes quietly asterisk asterisk days bled into weeks. Frank offered me a small cabin behind the motel at a discounted price if I helped with maintenance. "You're good company," he grumbled, which I realized coming from him was the emotional equivalent of a declaration of love. I accepted. I bought second-hand furniture, a cheap but comfortable mattress, a table with mismatched chairs. A plant I wasn't sure how to take care of, but tried anyway. My new home smelled like pine and fresh air. It felt like a place a person could rebuild themselves without witnesses. Sometimes, while fixing a broken tile or repainting a doorframe, I wondered what my wife and daughter were doing. Whether the realization of my absence had settled in, whether they were angry or scared, or finally understanding the weight of the man they'd taken for granted. But I never wondered if I should return. Not once. Pain has a way of sharpening truth. The truth was, they missed what I did, not who I was, and I was done being a ghost with a wallet. Hash hash asterisk asterisk. The visit that changed everything asterisk asterisk. It was almost 2 months later when I heard a car pull up in front of the motel one rainy afternoon. I didn't think anything of it. Visitors came all the time when the fishing was good. But then Frank walked into the cabin without knocking. "You've got company," he muttered. "Who?" He stepped aside. My daughter stood there. Her hair was wet from the rain, her eyes rimmed red, mascara smudged. She wasn't dressed up. She wasn't posing. She looked young, painfully young. For the first time in years, she looked like the girl who used to run into my arms and bury her face against my neck. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she whispered, "Dad." The dam inside me shifted, but didn't break. I stepped aside to let her in. She stood in the middle of my small cabin, taking in my simple life, the life she never imagined her father living. Her eyes landed on the plant I was failing to keep alive, and she let out a tiny, heartbreaking laugh. "Mom says you hate plants," she said. "I used to." I admitted, "I'm trying new things." She nodded, swallowing a lump in her throat. Then the tears came, slow at first, then all at once. She stepped forward and hugged me with a desperation I had never felt from her before. "I'm sorry." She cried into my chest. "I didn't know I hurt you. I didn't know what I said was so cruel. I didn't know how much you were carrying. I didn't know, Dad. I didn't know." Her grief soaked through my shirt. I closed my eyes, held her, let her break. "It wasn't just the dinner," I said softly. "It was years of feeling invisible." She sobbed harder, shaking. "I know," she whispered. "I know that now. Everything's falling apart. Mom, she's not herself. Grandpa, he's angry all the time. The bills, everything is a mess. And we all just realized we didn't understand what you really did, how much you did." Guilt wrapped around her words like thorns. I stroked her back gently. "I never wanted you to learn that through pain." She pulled back, wiping her cheeks. "Then come home, please. We can fix this. I'll do better, I swear." I looked at her, really looked at her. She was sincere, hurting, growing, trying. I loved her more than the air in my lungs. But going back, returning to the same walls, the same old patterns, the same invisible cage. No, returning would erase everything I had gained. Everything I had finally understood about myself. "I forgive you," I said. Her eyes widened with hope. "But I'm not coming back." The hope shattered. She stared at me, stunned, breath caught between a sob and disbelief. "Dad, you can't just leave forever." "I'm not leaving you," I said softly. "I'm just leaving the place that stopped feeling like home a long time ago." "But Mom, she needs to face the life she created," I said gently, just like I needed to face the one I neglected. My daughter broke again, quieter this time. Not from guilt, from understanding. She hugged me again, tighter than before. And this time it wasn't a plea. It was acceptance. When she finally left, she turned to me in the doorway, rain falling around her. "Are you happy here?" she asked. "Not yet," I said honestly, but I'm healing, and that's better than happy." She nodded slowly. "I want a visit," she whispered. I smiled. "You're always welcome. Hash hash asterisk asterisk, the sweetest revenge asterisk asterisk." After she drove away, I sat outside on the porch, listening to the rain soften. People think revenge is loud, sharp, explosive, but the sweetest revenge, the one that transforms you, is quiet. It's waking up in a place where no one raises their voice. It's choosing your own peace over someone else's chaos. It's building a life no one can take credit for but you. It's becoming someone you're proud of, even if no one sees it happen. I didn't destroy my old life. I simply stepped out of it. And in doing so, I let the people who underestimated me discover the truth. When you treat someone like they're replaceable, don't be surprised when they find a life where they're not. My healing wasn't revenge, but it felt like justice, soft, fair, and long overdue.